Right, hello everybody. Had a bit of a palaver today. I'm away at the moment in Shropshire, in a lodge, and I wanted to do this from my laptop, but the internet here doesn't like my laptop, so it's played around for 7 minutes and I give up in the end. So I hope you can hear me okay. If you can hear me okay, can you just give us a thumbs up in the comments if you're there, because I've not tested the volume on. I'm on my phone now, unfortunately. So, yeah, just let me know if you can hear me. That'll be lovely. Yeah. And I will just write a comment. Can I write a comment? Oh, no. If you can hear me, can you give us a thumbs up? That'll be good if you could. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me anyway. Oh, got a slow connection now as well. Oh my God, this is awful. I can only apologise if the internet's a bit awful. If this doesn't go very well, then I will, I'm actually just gonna log off this live. No, I won't. I'll carry on. I think you should be able to hear me okay. If not, I'll have to redo the video at a later point anyway. I just still I wanna try and get this out there if I can. I hope you can hear me. The internet here has really been hit or miss. They've got a double Wi-Fi booster thing in this lodge because we're down in the dip. So yeah, so I am a bit late, so I can only apologise. Okay, I'm going to get straight into it today because there's 3 blocks that I'm going to show you how to make today. So I just want to get straight into those. If the internet is playing up, I can only apologise. Put any comments that you want in there. If you can't hear me, I'll redo it when I get home next week. If not, hopefully you can hear me. You'll be able to watch this, play this back when you've got time, basically. So the first block I'm going to show you today is block 8. So yeah, so I'm going to show you block 8. Sorry, my computer's now saying I've gone live when actually I haven't on there. So I'm just going to get rid of that in case that's causing confusion. Oh, what is that? I've gone live on that. This is very confusing. Right, I'm going to do it on both, on my laptop and my phone. I'm no IT wizard, am I? I don't know, it says live. I don't know whether it is live or not. We'll wait and see. But anyway, I've got 2 ways. Hopefully you can hear me. I can't see any comments coming through yet. If you can hear me and you come onto the video, just please let me know. That would be great. Thank you. Yeah, so just to recap, we're going to do block 8 today. We're going to do block 9 and we're going to do block 10. So I haven't pre-made this block. I've made it from the pattern myself here this week. Because basically it's very similar to what you've done before if you've done the earlier blocks. If you've joined the video, just give us a hi in the comments if you can. Let me know if you can hear me. If there's any feedback or anything like that, just let me know because I'm not sure what's going on with the sound. It's all a little bit confusing here today. So yeah, so block 8. Now, this is an interesting block because we're moving on to sort of using rectangle shapes, whereas we've done squares and we've done triangles before. We're now going on to rectangles on here. But what I just want to show you, just to make things a bit easier, is the piecing guide at the back. It's in steps and you see it's colour coded: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Now that refers back to the steps in the pattern as well. So if you get a little bit confused reading the pattern and what to do next, refer back to this and it will guide you as to where you're putting your pieces, okay, as you piece along. Because I know not everyone's doing planes like me. I've done planes to make it easier, okay, for you to see, but I know some of you are using patterns. Now, I've already gone ahead and partially made some of this. I've not finished it all because there's a few bits I want to show you. But the bits I've finished, basically, you will have done in previous classes. So the first piece I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you how to make this block here, there, that one. We're going to make that block, okay, here, which consists of a rectangle piece in the middle, a square, two squares, and two more rectangles, okay? It's a really, really simple block to make this. So you're going to take your square and your rectangle in the correct colourway or fabric way for you. You're going to place it like this, and you're going to sew along this top edge here, okay? Using your 1/4 inch or your scant 1/4 inch, whatever you've done, whatever you've used so far in your pattern, stick to that. Now I have got my iron with me, I've unplugged it, but I've got the laptop plugged in as well, so I best keep that in for now. So I'm just going to finger press this, okay, for now. It should be okay. So that's where you're going to end up with. And I'm just going to do the other one. Well, I've done the other one to show you. So you're going to end up with two like this, okay? You can see the difference. That one's been nice and pressed. This one's just been finger pressed, okay? But hopefully I'll get away with this now. Okay. So your next task is to get this rectangle in your pattern. It is piece, I think it's D. Yeah, it's piece D. So this is piece C, this is piece E, that's piece D. And what you're going to do is you're going to put one right sides down, like this, pin if you want to, and you're going to sew along this long edge here, okay? So I'll just get this done now. I'll just finger press that back to show you how that looks. So that's how it looks. Now what we want to do with this piece is we want to alternate it when we sew it on, so that you don't want it like that where your squares are on the same side. You want to turn it round so the squares are on the opposite side. Okay, I'll go ahead and piece that together. And that's just a, I mean, if you want the same side you can do, but that's just a design element of this particular block, okay? Just going to match them seams up. And I forgot to bring a lot of things with me today. I forgot my little tripod, I forgot my microphones that I specifically bought for this, knowing I'd be away. So I can't show you me stitching, but basically that is the block made. So what you're going to do is in step 1 of your instructions, it's going to tell you to make, step 1 tells you to make the 9 patch in the middle, and then you move on to step 2 to make these. So this is step 2. So I've shot ahead across the 9 patch purely because the 9 patch is this, and you've done this before. You've sewn squares together before, okay? So I wasn't going to show you me making this again. You've done this before, so you're just going to make this first. This is step 1. These are step 2, okay? So you'll make 4 of those in the correct colourways for your fabric design. Then in step 3, it says, sorry, we've done step 2 and step 3 in that. So step 4 is about attaching the triangles to each side of one of these. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and done that already to show you what that looks like. So these are the B triangles, the big B triangles, and what you're going to do is using the pattern as a guide. You know, you'll do your coloured in sheet so you know exactly where you're placing your particular fabrics, because I know some are using floral, not everyone's using plain. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your triangle and you're going to match the 90-degree angles up on each side. That's a 90-degree angle there. And then when you've stitched it along this edge, it's going to flip back like that. Now, if I just show you the back, you can see it. You do get this little dog ear. That's normal. You need that, okay? But what you're doing is making sure that this flat edge here is in line with the flat edge of this block here. So you can do that on both sides, and that's what you'll end up with, okay? The next step is you will then, and you'll do that twice, you'll do it top and bottom. So you can see here I've done two, exactly the same, one's top, one's bottom. All right. And then what you will do is you will take there's four smaller triangular pieces. In my pattern of various colours. So you can see here, the smaller triangular pieces are blue, orange, red and green. Okay. And then you will stitch them onto the top of this block. Now, to get that exactly centered so you haven't got an off point, what you need to do is you need to fold your block in half, like so, matching the seams up. The dog ears help with this, by the way. You can see the dog ears, they match up. Crease that so you've got a crease in the centre. Do exactly the same with your triangle. You can see I've got a crease there. Then match them creases up, pin it, and what you'll see is the triangle has dog ears overlapping as well, but you'll also see that when you stitch it with 1/4 inch, the stitch line goes exactly through the dog ears there on each side. Okay, and these are nice, and these dog ears here create a nice 90-degree angle as well. So you know when it's all looking like that, that's perfectly set up. When you flick it back and press it back, what you've got is you've got 1/4 of the block. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and do that twice. So that's relatively straightforward. There's nothing, you've done this before by putting your triangles on as well. So you've done that before. The only thing you haven't done before is this bit here, which is why I've showed you. You've done these bits, you've done this bit, it's just on a bigger scale. Okay, so what we've got here with those two parts is we've got this top bit here. Sorry, I'll go there. And we've got this bottom bit here. What we need to do now is create this middle strip. And once we've created this middle strip, we can then join all three together, and that's the block complete. Now, in step 1, you'll go ahead and you'll make this, okay? And then what you will do, I think you move on to step 4, is you will then attach one of your triangular pieces to the left side and one to the right side. Okay, so I've gone ahead now and I'll show you, I've done that there. You can see how it looks. So this is one, this is the other. Now I've gone ahead and added the final triangular pieces to one end as well. And it's done exactly the same way as you've done the others. You're going to fold it in half, fold your triangle in half, lay them on top of each other so the crease matches. Make sure I've cut the dog ears off this. Make sure your dog ears overhang, and you'll see the stitch line goes right through your dog ears there, so you know in exactly the right place. So all I need to do now is sew this onto this, okay? Using the pattern as a guide to make sure I've got it the right way round, which I have. And what you'll find is that when it's pressed properly, now bear in mind mine isn't, they're exactly the same size, okay? Now I'm just going to stitch that on. Okay, now what I've done as well, just to show you, is I have on this one, and I've done this for all of them, just let me show you because I'm not ironing today, is I've pressed the seams inside, okay? I just think it gives it a little bit less bulk by pressing them all the one way, okay? And it just makes it easier to sew. So do that. You can see I've done that on there. On this one, the centre one, I press the seams out, so it means that when you sew them onto them, they're going to nest together really, really well. So these are in, those seams are out, and it means when I put them on and stitch across, everything's going to match up together. I'll just show you that now. Okay, so, and I just need a clip to show you. Because the nesting just means that everything just lines up together, and it just makes your block look a little bit better if everything's all in the right place, basically. Okay. Okay. So you can see that I've nested them together, and it means that this centerpiece D is directly in line with the center panel of the main square from step 1 and this one as well, okay? That's really the only nesting bit that you've got in this point up to this point in this pattern. There's only that bit really, and that's just for that centre block. So that's that joined together. So all I've got to do now is join the remaining triangle onto the end here. So, and what I would do as well, pressing, is I'd press that down, not up, down, okay? It just wants to go that way, so do that. So to place this triangle correctly, I'm going to fold this over in half. And what I'm doing there is I'm matching the seams of the centre blue strip. I'm just going to put a crease in there. You won't be able to see it, but I've got a crease in there. Then what I'm going to do is take this, and I've now got a crease there. So I'm going to match them together as they are there. Put one clip in there, just in the middle to show you. Okay. And then basically you can see that's how it's going to be. So it's perfectly aligned in the middle there, and you've got your dog ears overhanging the edge. And they do overhang by just over a good quarter of an inch. Go. And that's how it's going to look. This is your centerpiece, okay? And the next thing is to basically join all three together. Now, if you remember before, I said we had some nesting to do here. We are going to have nesting here and here as well, because we've got these pieces to join. So I'm just going to join this up for you now and show you how that looks, okay? 1 second. There is one seam here that will not nest, and you'll just have to, I'm going to show you how to finagle that. I don't know why it is. I've tried to figure it out, but I can't. So, and then all you're going to do is make sure your dog ears at the ends hang over at 90 degrees. So let me just show you this now. Right, so there you can see it's all nested up. The only one that isn't nested up for some reason is this seam here. Now, so you can see what I've done is I've twisted it so that it does nest at the top. It's more important that you twist it to nest. All right, and then what I will do is when I've stitched it, I'll get my scissors and I'm just going to do a diagonal cut into the seam. I've just put a little cut there. And then what I will do is I will press that like that so the seam sits flat once I've done it. If that's just a little hack really just to get round it, all right. And when I open this up, you can see that everything lines up together. That's what you want. You want everything lining up. So don't worry if you've got to finagle your seams like that. That's just something that happens occasionally. Just bear with me while I stitch this. I'll be back with you in a minute. Nice and lined up. So now you can see that because I nested everything, you can see how everything's lined up really well. All the seams have matched up on that, okay? So I'm going to do exactly the same on the opposite side. So, and I always just find clipping with these clips are great because they've got a quarter of an inch, you know, rather than pinning. they've got a 1/4 inch mark on the back. I think I've mentioned this before. There's like little lines on the back of your clips, and so you can put them a 1/4 inch down. And then what that means is if you're checking to see if everything has lined up properly, it's easy to do that because you can pull your fabric back to the 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now that one, I'm just going to have to finagle that one again to match that one up. So it's easier to do that small one this time. Do that one. And that nests really well. Okay. And also, I don't know whether you do know, but when you are clipping with these clips, you don't clip, and that's not the front, that's what you want to see. The curved bit is the back bit, okay? So you can see, I've clipped it now, like this. There, all the curves are on the back, all the 1/4 inch marks from the front. If we pull this down, we can see that everything is going to match up, so I'm happy to stitch that now. Right, so I do apologise if you can't hear me at all. I will sort that out at some point. It's just because I come away. Now, I'm slightly out on these, and I think it's because I stretched it a bit, and also I haven't ironed this one. So I'm ever so slightly out on that, but I'm not going to mess around with it. That's fine. The other side's perfect, but that side not so much. So once I've ironed this and trimmed it back, that is block 8 done. So there's nothing complicated on there really. Everything that you've done before up to now, up to block 8, you have done in previous classes. I'm just going to move on to block 9. So this is block 9, okay? And again, you've done all, this is just a bigger version of that centre square, all right? I've gone ahead and done the majority of it, but there's just a couple of things I want to point out, okay? First of all, you've got different size triangles. You've got corner triangles, which I think are A's in this pattern. 1 second. Yeah, they're A's. They are much smaller than these side joining triangles, which are the B's. So make sure you clearly mark what's an A and what's a B. You've only got 4 of these, but you've got much more of these, okay? This pattern as well is best constructed in rows. So what I've done on the back is, for your colouring chart, I've turned the block round on points, so you're working in straight lines rather than diagonals, okay? And it'll enable you to see what's row 1 right through to row 9. And in the instructions, row 1 and 9 are made in exactly the same way. The only difference is where you sew the corner triangle A on, is it the bottom or the top? All right, because on row 1 it's going to be the top, at row 9 it's going to be at the bottom. The only other difference as well is row 5, because row 5 has a triangle, a corner triangle at one end and a corner triangle on the other. It doesn't have any B triangles because that's right through the centre. I'll just show you there. It's right through the centre there. So that's row 5 from there to there. So you can see that's row 5. Every other row, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, they all start and end with a B triangle. Now when you're working on the top part, the B triangles are these ones here, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your triangle, just imagine this is it, okay? And you're going to line it up so that you've got that 90-degree angle on both the top and the bottom bit, okay? So that, and you're going to sew along this edge, and then when you flip that back, it's going to go, it's going to give you this triangle here. Let me just do that again. I'll show you here. So you're going to sew, everything's back to front for some reason. So you're going to sew along this line here, and then you're going to flip, and then that will be that triangle there, okay? So it's everything again that you've done before when you're sewing your triangles onto your squares. You making sure you've got that 90-degree angle matched up. You're going to sew along this edge, and then you're going to flip it back, what have you. So for these bits at the top bit, that's great, but what you've got to remember is when you're doing the bottom bit, it's actually the other way round. It's upside down, if you see what I mean, because now whereas you're sewing them along the bottom edge, you're matching up against the bottom edge. On here, as you get to rows 6, 7 and 8, you're matching it along the top edge. You can see there, I've left it there to show you. That would have been laid on like this to match it along the top edge. So the 2s, 3 and 4, you're matching it along the bottom edge. 6, 7 and 8, you're matching along the top edge. And then when you flip over, you've got this here. You can see now, if I show you, you can see why you need that. Because if you did it along the bottom, the triangle would be the wrong way, okay? So all I'm going to do is going to show you block 9. So block 9 is the last row. So you can see I've sewed the triangles along the top, where this is going to be the top edge. So you can see I've sewn them along the top edge, okay, like this. And then this is the bottom. So what I need to do is I need to add this bottom A triangle, and what we do basically is what we did before about trying to find the correct placement. We fold our piece in half to find the center, and I do that by matching up the seams, okay, putting that in there, putting a little crease in, matching them up, making sure I've got the A triangle on the top edge like this. And now I am going to sew it. Now what I would say is when you're constructing this block, do your rows, don't iron them until you've done all your rows together, okay? And then once you've got them all laid out, what you then need to do is iron the seams one way or the other so that all your blocks nest together when you match row by row. So I've finished this one, so this is now going to get stitched onto the bottom like that, and that's the bottom half done. Now I'm just going to match up this. I'm just going to nest the seams as we've done all the way along, as such, and it's going to look like this, okay? Get this stitched on. And there you go. That is the bottom half stitched on. I will press it and you can see that the seams match up perfectly. So now all I'm going to do is join these two pieces together as such, like this. Okay. And because I've pressed them correctly, the seams are going to nest perfectly, so one on top of the other. And when you are nesting them together, there's a bit of a temptation actually to take the first block right along to the edge. Don't do that, because the B triangles are the corner setting triangles or the edge setting triangles. So basically they've got to go over the block underneath. It might throw you a little bit, but just remember that the first block of the one above or below is always going to be covered by a triangle. So it's going to look like that, okay? And I'm just going to go along and match all these up now. What you should find is, I've only matched the first two, but what you should find is if you cut correctly and sewn correctly, you probably won't even need to use clips to match them, because the seams just want to sort of sit together anyway. So you can just make sure that everything is nested as you go. So there you go, that's what block 9 is going to look like when you've finished. Okay, it's a simple block, but if you're doing it in pattern fabrics, I think it's going to look absolutely stunning, because you could still fussy cut for these. These are finished about 1 3/4 inches when they're done. It's a decent size square. You could fussy cut it. I will give it a pressed, because obviously I haven't pressed this bit together. And again, it's just a matter of, don't worry about squaring your blocks up yet. We'll go through a whole tutorial on squaring up. It should finish around about 12 inches, 12.5 inches. But if it's under or over, don't panic, please. It doesn't matter. So yeah, that's block 10 done. So I hope you find that useful, the way it's laid out in the pattern. Okay. Now, block 10. Move on to block 10. This is a mix, this block, of everything we've done before. So you've done your half square triangles, you've done sewing your squares together, you've done these mini 9 patches. So everything you've done before is brought together into this one pattern. Okay. Now, I forgot to put the colouring sheet on this. So if you have already downloaded it before today, go onto the New Monday site and download the updated version that has the colouring sheet on it as well. Okay, and this is actually, when we sew this together, there's a bit of prep. We need to make half square triangles first, and also our 9 patch blocks. But then after that, we're joining things together in pairs. So for example, this is a pair, this is a pair, that's a pair, that's a pair, that's a pair, that's a pair. So you end up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pairs of blocks. And then what you'll do is you'll join them together into a block of 4. So that's going to be a block of 4. And this is going to be a block of 4, that's a block of 4, and that's a block of 4. And what you're aiming to do is this bit here, when they're all joined up, this creates a block called a pinwheel. So you're creating a secondary block with this block. So not only are you doing your half square triangles in your 9 patch, but what you're doing is you're taking your half square triangles and you're putting together in such a way in this pattern that you're actually creating a brand new block called a pinwheel, and that's what this effect is here as well. Okay, and it can be really stunning in pinwheels. So what I've actually done is I've gone ahead, because we've covered a lot of everything before, I've gone ahead and I've made mine now, and I've joined it into pairs. Okay, and make sure that you follow your colourway as well. You know, so colour in your colouring guide, make sure you know exactly where your fabric placement is, because what I would say with this one, really, it's all about the fabric placement and making sure that that pinwheel really stands out against your background blocks. Okay, so when you've got your 4 blocks from your 8 pairs, what you're going to do is join them two together, and again follow your guide. All right. And what you want to do then is make sure that we're going to join the 2 halves together. So again, we're looking at nesting. Okay, so just make sure that when you put them together, like so, okay, have I done that the right way? Yeah, when you put them together, Have I done that the wrong way? Oh, I've done that the wrong way. Gosh, I knew I'd done that wrong. 1 second. I'm going to unpick, because that's going to annoy me otherwise. I thought that wasn't right. You know, you're looking at something last night and I was thinking, that's not right. It should be the other way. Right, give me 1 sec. I'm just going to unpick this now, if you don't mind. See, this just shows, doesn't it? I did this late last night and I was like, I've done that right, and I haven't. And it's purely because these two are together and they shouldn't be together. It should be background colour, background colour. So I need to move the green one. The green's in the wrong orientation. Now, I'd sewn it all up, but don't panic about that, because you can still go back and unpick and fix. So this is probably a good lesson, actually. I've done this so many times. My orientation recently with laying blocks out is just a little bit skewy. That's down to COVID. COVID threw all my coordination out the way, which is why I had to stop using me Gracie Cutie frame, because I couldn't free motion on the frame. My brain and my hands just don't get the coordination together, unfortunately. So, right, so I've unpicked that. So now I've gone back to two. This is how you get your 2 blocks, okay. My blue I'm happy with. I think is it my blue? Let's have a look. Which way is that round now? So I've got my yellow and my orange like that. Yeah. My blue's right there. My blue. My green. It's actually my green. It's my blue actually I'm not happy with. It's not my green, it's my blue. So again, this is why it's useful to have the colouring sheet, because then you can look at where you've put your fabrics and think, oh yeah, that's right, it shouldn't be like that. It should be the other way around. So I'm just going to unpick this now and get this done. So you can just enjoy talk amongst yourselves while I'm unpicking. Sorry about the light as well. The sun keeps coming and going. It was really dull before and I had all the curtains shut, and then it was really dark and I've got no lights. That would make it better. So, right. So I'm going to go back to the pairs now. So that's all my unpicking done. All right. I don't mind unpicking actually sometimes. I do when I'm in a rush, but when I'm not in a rush, I don't mind. Okay. Can you believe it's just over a month till, well, Festival of Quilts? I'll be there, as I said, from the Wednesday to the Sunday. So if you are coming along, hunt me out. I think I've got 3 places left. 2 on Saturday, 1 on the Sunday at the Manx Log Cabin workshops. And if you can, come along because the goodie bags. Just saying, the goodie bags are good. You don't just get your kit. Not off Netty. Right, so let me get this right now. So that's up there. So my blue is the other way around. So I've got my blue like that, and it should be the other way around, and I'll show you that now. What a numpty. Do you know what this was? I was trying to sew and watch a movie at the same time. We're watching No Country for Old Men. So, yeah, it's all right. We've got free movies on the telly here in the lodge. So, because we're in a lodge, it's like a luxury golf resort. The husband's obviously playing golf. So, yeah. So, this needs to be, on my pattern, it needs to be that way. And I had it another way. So I need to sew this properly. So let me just get this sewn on the right way round. Might have a slurp of coffee, do you? In my little fabric lady mug. So this is a pair. So I'll just show you in my pattern where I went wrong. I went wrong on this block here. That was in the wrong way. This blue was up against the green and it shouldn't have been. There should have been a background here. So I've had to undo that block. Okay. So that's now the pair. So if I just get this stitched on to this. and that forms the pinwheel, yeah. So I'm just nesting up them seams again. We're going to put a clip on that. So they're nested up so everything matches. I'm just going to stitch this and then get it stitched back on to the other block, and then I should be able... So this is what you're going to do basically. You're going to do pairs like I've just showed you there. To be honest, it's such fun making these blocks. I really enjoyed myself, particularly on block 9. I know it's just like mundane. I love just creating just love creating all the little rows. So now I've got the 2 blocks. As you can see, I've matched the pairs up, and I can see there my blue is nowhere near the green, and that's exactly what it should have been, and that's where it moved up. So these blocks again, these are gonna be nested in the centre, so make sure your seams are just saying there, make sure your seams are pressed the different ways. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm matching the seams in the middle, okay? So everything's got to be matchy-matchy. So the nesting is important. And also with the pinwheels, what you're trying to do, just pull this back. With the pinwheels, you're trying to match where the pinwheel seam is, the colours. So that's what I'm trying to do as well. So now we're back to where we started. Silly Netty. Right, I'm just going to finger press that seam the way it needs to be because I want to nest these 2. So I've now got my top and my bottom, and I need these to nest together. So what I will do is I'll pin them to nest them, and I'll open it up so you can see how it's going to look. Because the nesting on this, you've got 3 points where it's going to nest, and I'll show you that now. That's that way, that's that way. Okay. So, I could just show you this. So this is how the block's going to be. I've just clipped it now. So it's going to nest in the middle, and it's going to nest on these seams here. Okay, so they're the seams that you need to match up. And just try and keep everything as straight as possible as you stitch these 2 halves together. Bulk in the middle where you're going over the pinwheel. So what I would do, and I'll show you here, is that's the bulk in the pinwheel at the back there. So I'm going to trim them dog ears off, and I'm going to press this seam open when I've finished. So just let me try and get this pressed as best as I can for you. So the bulk, I'll show you what I mean by the bulk. It sort of doesn't let your block sit flat properly. So this is how your block is going to look when you've finished it. This bit's not sitting flat properly because I've only finger pressed it for now. But once I've trimmed back the dog ears and pressed that seam flat, that's going to sit nice and flat. So you can see how the pinwheel, you can see the error I made there was I had the blue there and I should have had the background. So it's colour, background, colour, background. So if that gets a little bit confusing, just keep that little mantra in mind. Colour, background, colour, background. So that's how you make block 10. And again, it's nothing that you haven't done before, okay? I will press all these and I'll put pictures, I'll upload pictures on the post as well. I am sorry if I can't, if this video is no good, I'll need to redo this again, excuse me. So I do apologise. If you have took the time to join me today live, I really appreciate that, thank you. I'm now going to go off. I've got a community quilt with me that I need to finish this week. And I'm also making a Japanese rice bag from some Manxel cabin blocks. So they're going to be the rest of my projects. I'm here till Monday, so I'll be working on those for the next couple of days. But later on, I'm going out to Bridgnorth, do a little bit of shopping. We're going to come back. We're going to sit in the jacuzzi with some fizz. And then we're going to go up to the golf clubhouse for a lovely evening meal and then come back and just chill. Well, I'll probably come back and sew. The husband will come back and chill. So thank you very much for your time today, and I'll do some posts and I'll see you soon. As I said, it'll be on Facebook for a month. It will be saved on there for a month. After that they delete them, but it will go onto my Netty Made YouTube page as well. Okay, thank you very much for your time. Hope you enjoy them blocks. Message me with any questions at all. If you need a one-to-one at all, drop me a message and we'll arrange a date and time and we'll do a live video session if you need a one-to-one, if you're struggling with anything. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye now. Bye.